You're looking at the analysis. Going to New South Wales, where Eraring has been extended in life as a coal-fired power station, under the current ISP and plan, working there, is there no likelihood or possibility, you see no likelihood that coal stations would have to be extended at the current rate of build?
With regard to, can you just repeat that?
Under the current plan, under the current ISP,
yes.
You see no likelihood or possibility that other coal stations will have to be included as we're going along as business as usual?
Well, I think it's important to remember that just because you extend these coal-fired power stations doesn't make them more reliable. I mean, I've been the Energy Minister. I know I'm getting to your question. I've been the Energy Minister in New South Wales. I've seen the engineering reports around the ability to extend the life of these coal-fired power stations. I mean, you talk about the Eraring coal-fired power station. There's actually a physical constraint in extending that any longer than its scheduled timeline, and that's the ash dam that's associated with it. The ash dam has a finite life, and it would cost billions and billions and billions of dollars to extend that ash dam.
That's not the case anymore. I was at Eraring probably about 2 months ago. They're now pulling it on the books as an asset because they've found a buyer for the stuff and they've rebuilt the whole ash dam. They've worked on it. It's actually no longer got that constraint.
Well, with regard to my time as the Energy Minister,
I understand.
there was a physical
it's changed
in place around the ash dam.
They closed my unit bay because it wasn't up to standard. They've rebuilt it. It's now no longer has that concern.
But there is a physical or a rate limiter in a lot of these assets, whether it be the ash dam or the ability of that kit to be able to continue to work when you need it. That's not like an ideological thing, that's just an engineering reality. These things were built in the 70s and 80s. They're coming to end of life and they need huge capital upgrades to be able to operate. Could some of them be extended? Potentially, absolutely. But then you've got to also consider the economic realities of running these things, and they're losing cash
that's not my
during
point.
times of the
None
day.
of this is my point. I accept the economic realities. I accept the limitations.
Yeah.
Your costing on the extra emissions under a nuclear plan sees that any extension to coal has extra emissions going out. Are you saying there is no risk of that, no possibility of that under the government's plan?
No, what I'm saying is that under the assumptions that we've put in our model are the ones used by Frontier Economics. That's what we've based it on.
Okay. But some of those, given that when you were Energy Minister we weren't extending anything and now we're extending Eraring, or the state is, they've stepped in since the other government has changed.
When I was Energy Minister,
we
weren't in control of the assets, but yes.
But there is no guarantee that coal won't have to be extended anyway, even under the plan we're currently on, is there?
Can you repeat your question?
Under the plan that the government is on its scenario,
yes,
there is no guarantee that coal plants won't have to be extended anyway.
We can only model the scenarios in front of us.
But you can't give a guarantee, can you?
Are the Frontier Economics scenario.
You cannot give a guarantee
ISP,
no coal goes longer.
Scenario.
Just say yes or no.
Cadell, there's a bit of a sort of blizzard of different contentions here.
Yep.
Just so that we can sort this a little bit. I mean, first of all, you said you accept the economic realities. Well, it's about time.
It costs money to keep coal open.
It costs a very significant amount of money. Your plan, Mr Dutton and Mr O'Brien and Mr Taylor's plan, requires these coal assets to continue to be extended in full, the 2 billion tonnes of additional emissions, but all of the additional cost into the system, making our industry less competitive. You say that the government's plan that we were elected to deliver, that there is evidence of at least one jurisdiction extending the life of a coal. I mean, that is from the government's perspective, we want to see as little of that as possible because it puts additional cost into the system. That is why we are so focused on delivering an outcome that has renewables plus storage plus gas to deliver the lowest cost, most reliable system possible. Does that mean that there might be some incremental... I mean, these are decisions that states will have to make, but it's not our intention. Your plan requires all of the coal assets to continue. I think Mr Littleproud said to sweat the assets, which is something you could only say if you'd never been in one. There has not been a single day over the last, couple of years where one of these assets hasn't had an unplanned outage which puts additional cost in there for households, which puts additional cost in there for business, making business less competitive. We are focused on building an electricity system that is an electricity system for the future. I think comparing the assumptions that sit underneath the plan that the government is working with the states and the private sector to deliver with your $600 billion nuclear plan is comparing sort of apples with antelopes.
Well, Mr Ayres, you've decided to get involved in this conversation, so let's go there. Your plan said it was going to be $275 cheaper for householders. Today we've had evidence that it's $650 more expensive for householders on average since you came in. Your plan said we're going to get to 82, and we're hearing evidence that we struggled to get to 82 in that time frame. So if you can give me a guarantee that not a single coal asset will be extended beyond their current rate of day, there's nothing to talk about. Give me that guarantee and we'll move on. Can you give me a guarantee that no coal asset will be extended on its closed date as it stands? We've got our plan. They're down.
It is time that the Liberals and Nationals acted like adults in this debate.
We put on paper
act like adults. And there is no. We have seen. If the policy that you develop is the kind of policy that you have developed, you are going to be subjected to some scrutiny. And I know you don't like it. But there is going to be some scrutiny.
I accept the scrutiny. We put the policy on.
No, you've tried to silence it over the course of this. Your finance spokesperson says she's going to sack the people.
Sorry for talking while you were interrupting. Sorry for talking while you were interrupting.
Honestly.
I really apologise again, Chair. I'm sorry for continuing with my question. Yeah, okay. But here is the point. You say itself, the frontier economics are on black and white. We admit that coal is going to have to stay longer. I accept that, right? Minister Ayres, this is your chance. Are you saying coal gets shut down on the times as they stand? You be black and white. You be open. But this is your chance to put it in right.
Coal won't come out sooner than you anticipate.
Hang on, your modelling is against that.
Get to ask questions of opposition senators.
I'm sorry. I thought we were engaged in a robust debate, Senator. I thought we were having a conversation.
Here's your chance for your plan.
We are a pragmatic, common sense government engaging the cheapest possible technologies in a systematic way to deliver a low cost, reliable electricity system.
For those reading home, not a guarantee.
The sort of rule in, rule out nonsense is juvenile.
Okay. Well, it's simple. We're being honest. You can't give an answer. I'm not just saying you're being dishonest.
There is like today, Chair. Just today. What are we? The 24th of February. There is 1.5 gigawatts of unplanned coal outages now.
Yep.
Making electricity more expensive because of your failure over a decade to do the work that was required to invest in the new energy system. Your failure has delivered that outcome, and having you in here claim that there's some, talking about transparency, and actually it is about time you put your shoulder behind the wheel and actually contributed to the national effort here.
Well,
because 10 years of policy failure has made it tougher for ordinary Australians, and at least what you can say about this government is that we're pushing in the right direction, delivering the lowest cost technology in a planned and systematic and common sense way, and it's about time the Liberals and Nationals started acting in the national interest.
If I wanted your talking points, I'd read them when they get emailed to me at 8 o'clock. I don't need to listen to them anymore. I'll listen to more questions. Happy to rotate if someone else has got questions.
Do you have further questions?
Is anyone else from our side? I'll go. Just a follow-up.
Sure.
I don't know, but I trust Mr Ayres enough to say that interview happened. I'm not going to say that it's wrong.
Yeah.
If, from an emissions point, we are talking about $2 billion more under this plan and nuclear isn't your thing, would you be comfortable working for a government that has nuclear as a thing if it wins, or would you think that potentially you wouldn't want to be there?
Well, I'm surprised at the arrogance of people measuring up the curtains in the lodge at the moment, counting their chickens. I think
no one
the Australian
is. I'm saying
people
if that was true,
would be very concerned.
I do not think that an official, even if the tone is pushing them around, can answer a hypothetical question.
I don't think that's a fair question.
Okay.
Senator Cadell?
Look, can I maybe respond and say that my position, as for my position, I'll continue to serve the best interests of the people of Australia and advocate for targets that protect the environment and grow our economy. That's not going to change regardless who's in government. These are positions that I've consistently taken in a coalition government, whereas the deputy leader of that government, that coalition government in New South Wales, which not only had the most rational economic policies, it also had some of the leading environmental policies supported in by the National Party.
Deputy Leader of the Liberals, not the government.
That's right. That's right. Correct the record.
Thank you.
All done?
Yep.
Okay. Mr Kean, Mr Archer,
Thank you, Chair.
Ms
Thank
Murray,
you, Senators.
thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming to play with us today, and we wish you well in setting and undertaking and finalising